Hello students, this is Sandeep sir here from Vijay Tutorial. Here admission is open for the online classes for CBSE 10. Okay, academic session 2021-22. So if anyone of you are interested, please contact me at this number 8050-644-272. Okay. So here in this video, I'm going to explain you about the electricity. Okay, one of the very important lessons of science. Okay. Admission is open for ICSE 10 as well as CBSE 10 and SSLC. Okay, first see what is electric current. Okay, what is electricity? Okay, when we talk about electricity, okay, electricity is the basic part of our nature and it is one of our most widely used forms of energy. Yes or no? So we use electricity virtually every minute of our day. Okay, for example, lighting, okay, heating, refrigerations, air conditionings, power electromagnets, power computers, power televisions, power pumps, power vehicles. So everywhere we can see electricity is being used. Yes or no? So next, you should understand about charge. What do you mean by charge? Okay, so when we talk about a charge, okay, so every matter or each matter contains some protons, electrons, and neutrons. Yes or no? How is the structure of atom? Atom generally contains nucleus. Okay, in the center, inside the nucleus, what is there? Protons and neutrons are there, and electrons are revolving around the nucleus in circular path. Okay, so these paths are called as orbits, in which electrons are revolving. Am I clear? So the charge possessed by the proton is called positive charge, while the charge possessed by the electron is negative charge, and neutron has the particle that has no charge. Okay, neutron is generally neutral particles. Okay, so we also know that the like charges repel each other. Okay, while unlike charges attract each other. Is that no? So when we talk about plus plus, what will happen? Positive positive will there will be repulsion. When we talk about plus minus, unlike charges, there will be attraction. So like charges repel each other and unlike charges attract each other. So electric charges are made up of positive charges, protons, and negative charges called as electrons. So on the basis of conductivity, materials are classified generally into two major groups. So one is conductor, other is a insulator. Okay, so what do you mean by conductors? Conductors are those materials in which the electrons are free to move anywhere inside the matter, like aluminum, copper. All metals are actually conductors. When we talk about insulators, so these are those materials in which electrons are not free to move. Okay, so they do not conduct electricity. So electrons are not free to move anywhere. Okay, example plastics, wood, non-metals. Non-metals also comes under what? Insulator. Non-metals like carbon. Okay, coal you can say. Okay, like oxygen. Okay, like nitrogen, chlorine. All are what? Non-metals. Generally, they are insulators. Yes or no? Next, we talk about electric current. Okay, so electric current is actually the flow of electric charge. Okay, is called as electric current. So electric current is generally denoted as I. So we can write electric charge by time. Okay, is called as what? Current, electric current. Okay, so electric current is denoted as a letter I. And electric current is expressed by the rate of flow of electric charges. Means electric charge flowing per unit time. Rate of flow means what? Amount of charge flowing through a particular area in a unit time. Okay, so if a net electric charge Q flows through a cross section area of any matter in time t, okay, so we can write current is equal to what? Charge upon time. Yes or no? So generally SI unit of charge is coulomb. Okay, so let 1 coulomb of charge flows for SI unit of time is second. So if it is flowing for 1 second, then current is said to be 1 ampere. Okay, is A for ampere. So you can see here SI unit of electric current is a ampere. Next, if positive charge flows, okay, direction of electric current is same as the direction of flow of charge. Suppose in a conductor, okay, suppose positive charge is there, it is flowing in this direction. So direction of current is also in the same direction. Okay, whereas if a negative charge flows, the direction of electric current is opposite to the direction of flow of charges. For example, if in a conductor electrons are moving in this direction, okay, suppose A to B, they are moving from A to B, so direction of current will be from B to A. Okay, so this is a sign convention we should follow. Okay, so if electron is minus charge is there, plus charge is there. Okay, so if the positive charge is moving in this direction, so current is also in the same direction. If electron is moving in this direction, so current is in the opposite direction. Yeah, they have shown. Next, electric current can't flow through the insulator because in an insulator, protons and electrons are fixed at their positions. Okay, so that is the reason. Okay, insulators are not conducting electricity. Conductors only will conduct electricity because they are in the conductors, electrons are free to move, whereas in the insulator they are not free to move. Okay. Next, we talk about very important concepts called as potential difference. What do you mean by potential difference? See, potential difference between the 2 points is the work done per unit charge in taking the charge from one point to other point. Suppose generally we talk about infinity. Suppose any charge is there at infinity. Okay, so potential difference is nothing but a work done upon charge. Work done upon charge. See, if you want to move this unit positive charge from infinity to this point A, so you have to do some work, yes or no? So that amount of work done by charge is called as potential difference. Okay, so if suppose 1 joule of work is done, SI unit of work is joule. So if 1 joule of work is done to bring 1 coulomb of charge, okay, then we can say potential is 1 volt. Okay, potential difference is 1 volt. Okay, when we talk about potential difference here, we talk about 2 different points. Okay, A and B. Charge is moved from one point to other point. Okay, so what a potential means what? Potential amount of work done to bring a charge from infinity to a particular point. This is also work done by charge. This is also work done upon charge. But here the charge is moved from infinity, okay, to a particular point. But in case of potential difference, the charge is moved from one point to other point. That's why you can see here potential difference between the 2 points is the work done per unit charge in taking the charge from one point to another point. Same thing here. Okay, so if 1 volt is the potential difference between the 2 points, if 1 joule of work has to be done in taking 1 coulomb of charge from one point to another point. Okay, as water flows from high level to low level, similarly electric current flows from high potential to low potential. Suppose there is a conductor. Okay, so here potential difference is 15 volt. Okay, or here it is a 5 volt. So charge will flow from where? High potential to the low potential. Am I clear? So just like suppose if you take a container, make some partition here and fill this container to half at 2 different levels. You can see water is filled so one at this level and another partition, okay, till here only. If you make a hole, what will happen? Water will flow from here to here. Okay, so similarly, as the water is flowing from high level to low level, Similarly, charge always flow from high potential to low potential. Cell. Next topic is what? Cell. What do you mean by cell? The difference of potential may be produced by a battery consisting of one or more electric cells. So electric cells is a device, okay, which converts chemical energy into electrical energy. It is generally represented like this. So this is the plus of the battery cell, and this is the minus of the cell. And group of cells become what? A battery. We'll see the symbols also. So when we talk about potential difference across the terminals of the cell generated due to the chemical reaction within the cell. Okay, so some when we talk about a cell or battery, you have seen the battery which is used in the watches, okay, or in the mobiles also. So what is happening there? Chemical energy is converted to electrical energy. So when the cell is connected to a conducting wire, current flows from high potential to the low potential. Okay, so here we can represent this with the help of a circuit diagram also. Okay, let it be a cell is here. Now one this is a switch, and you connect a lamp here. Okay, so once you switch on the switch, the switch is closed, so current will start flowing from this circuit, and this lamp will glow. Okay, this is a simple circuit. So when we talk about electric circuit is a continuous closed path of electric current. For example, in a given figure, so the typical electric circuit comprising a cell, an electric bulb, and a switch. You can see same thing diagram is there. You can see here one cell is there, one switch is there, one lamp is there. One switch is closed, so the current is flowing through the circuit and the bulb is glowing. Yes or no? Generally, current flows only if a electric circuit forms a closed loop. If the switch is open, okay, if it is open, then current is not flowing through the circuit, because we need a complete circuit for the flow of currents. Next, we talk about circuit diagrams. Okay. So we know that electric circuit is a continuous path consisting of a cell, switch, that is plug key, electric components, and connecting wires. Electric circuits can be represented conveniently through a circuit diagram. So a diagram which indicates how the different components of different components in a circuit have to be connected by using symbols for their different electrical components is called a circuit diagram. Okay, so you can see here one circuit diagram is there. This is a cell, this is a battery. Okay, this is cell and this is a bulb. So if we are representing the different component electrical components, okay, that becomes a circuit diagrams. Here we can see these are experiments you can do in the lab. Okay, physics lab, science labs you can do. There are some devices called as ammeter and voltmeter. What do you mean by ammeter? Okay, they may ask you 1 mark, sir. It is a device which is used to measure the current actually. So an apparatus to measure the value of current. It is always connected in series in a circuit through which the current is to be measured. So suppose if any circuit is there, let here one circuit is there. One electric circuit is there, yeah, and here we are connecting a cell here. Let it be 2 volt. Okay, and switch is there. Here switch is closed. So bulb through this bulb current will flow. Okay, when the current is passed through the circuit, this bulb glows. If you want to measure the value of current, so you have to connect a ammeter. Okay, in the series only. Ammeter is connected in the series to the right hand side or left hand side. It will give you the value of current. Okay, so ammeter is a apparatus or device which is used to measure the value of current. It is always connected in series. Okay, in a circuit. through which the current has to be measured. So this is the ammeter. Okay, this also you can see in the science lab. Okay, this is the device. You can see the readings are there 0, 5, 1, 1.5. Okay, 0.5. This is in an ammeter is there 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.53. So this is the readings of, okay, which is mentioned in the ammeter. So ammeter will give you the current reading in ampere or milliampere. Okay, you can see here in this circuit, ammeter is connected in the series only. Next, you should understand what is a voltmeter. Okay, so voltmeter is nothing but it is a apparatus which is used to measure the potential difference between the 2 points in a electric circuit. It is always connected in parallel across the points between which the potential difference has to be measured. So suppose if you want to, how we are going to use this voltmeter, I would like to show you. Okay, so suppose here one cell is there, let it be 5-volt cell is there, one switch is connected here, okay, and one bulb is there. So if you want to know the potential difference across this bulb, so you have to connect a voltmeter, okay, in parallel. So parallel means one end you connect here, another end is connect here. Okay, so that will give you the reading of voltage across this bulb. Okay, so it is always connected in parallel. So you can see here same. Okay, this is a cell, this is a bulb, reading is measuring by the voltmeter. Here are some electrical components are there. They may ask you, okay, to draw the symbols of different electrical components. You see electric cell. Electric cells is like this. Okay, this is electric cell. So this represents the plus of the cell and minus of the cell. A battery. Battery is nothing but a group of cells. Okay, suppose 2 cells if you join, it becomes a battery. 2 cells or more than 2 cells. Okay, plus minus, plus minus, plus minus. This becomes what? A battery. A group of cells is called as what? A battery. Next, a plug key or a switcher, open switcher. Open switch is like this. Okay, open switcher or like this also. Plug key or plug key switcher, which is closed. Closed switch means what? This is the closed switch. You have to put a dot here or like this. This is a closed switch. Okay. Next, a joint, a wire joint. Wire joint is like this. Wire is coming and this is joining. So wire joint. Okay, wire crossing over means if suppose 2 wires are there which is not connected. Okay, so this can be represented like this. Okay, wire crossing over. Electric bulb or lamp is represented like this. Okay, this is a lamp. A resistor is represented like this. This is a resistor. Variable resistor means resistors whose value is not fixed. This is variable resistor, or we can represent like this also. Ammeter is a device now which is used to measure the current. So we are just writing in a circle A. Okay, so this is the ammeter. Voltmeter is represented like this. Voltmeter, what it will do, it will give the readings of a voltage. Okay. Next, we talk about Ohm's law. What do you mean by Ohm's law? This is also one of the very important questions, which is asked in the board exam. So Ohm's law states that electric current is directly proportional to the potential difference across or between the 2 points. Okay, so here we can write current is directly proportional to the potential difference, or we can write V directly proportional to I also. When you remove the proportionality, you have to put a constant R into I. So V is equal to IR. This is the expression of Ohm's law. Okay, V is the potential difference, I is the current, R is the constant of proportionality. R is called as resistance. Okay, so R is a constant for the given conductor and is called resistance. Resistance is nothing but property of a conductor which resists the flow of electric current through it. Okay, so components that is used to resist the flow of electric current in a circuit is called as resistor. So resistor is a actually component, okay, present in the electric circuit which will not allow the current to pass through. Okay, and resistance is that value, that property of the conductor, okay, which resists the flow of a electric current through it, is called as resistance. Am I clear? So SI unit of resistance is what? Ohm. SI unit of resistance is what? Ohm. Ohm is denoted by a Greek letter. Okay, so this is the representation of ohm, like this. Okay. So here you can see here, this is a circuit in which some cell is connected, okay, through a resistor. So it will always obey the Ohm's law. Ohm's law states that V is equal to IR. So we can prove this also. And how is the graph, they may ask you. So I'm just taking some values of voltage, okay, and current. Let the voltage is 5 volt, current is 2 ampere. When the voltage becomes 10 volt, it may come to, current may come to 4 ampere. When it becomes 15 volt, it may come to 6 ampere. So I want to plot a graph, okay, of this VI. So voltage I'm taking across the x-axis and current along the y-axis. I'm just marking the value of voltage 5 volt, 10 volt, 15 volt. Here current 2 ampere, 4 ampere, 6 ampere, 8 ampere, like this. Okay, for 5 volt, how much is the current? 2 ampere. So for 5 volt, 2 ampere here. Okay, for 10 volt, what is the current? 4 ampere. For 10 volt, it is a 4 ampere. Okay, in this it will go. Next, for 15 volt, it is 6 ampere. 15 volt, it is 6 ampere. So you can see here, graph is going a straight line. Yes, this graph is there. Okay, so this is the VI graph. Okay, you have to draw properly using the proper skills, and yes, you will get a straight line graph. Okay, so this is the graph of here. Now, if you see R is from here, what we can write? R is equal to V by I. So when 1 volt is applied, and it creates a current of 1 ampere. So 1 volt by 1 ampere will give you what? 1 ohm. Okay, so you can see here, 1 ohm resistance is equal to the flow of 1 ampere of current through a conductor between the 2 points having a potential difference equal to 1 volt. Yes or no? So when potential difference is 1 volt and 1 ampere current is passed, it means the resistance is how much? 1 ohm. Okay, so 1 ohm is nothing but 1 volt by 1 ampere. Okay, so one important concept they may ask you about, what are the factors which affect the resistances. Okay, so there are some factors which affect the resistances. Resistance in a conductor depend upon the following factor. What is the first factor? Length of the conductor. Generally what happens, resistance of a wire is directly proportional to the length. It means when the length of the wire increases, resistance also increases. Later, two wires I am taking of a same area of cross section but different length. Okay, so here length is L1, length is L2. Let the resistance is R1, resistance is R2. So if the length L2 is greater than L1, you can see this length is more than this length. So resistance is also R2 will be greater than R1. Why? Because resistance of a wire is directly proportional to the length of the conductor. Second factor is the area of cross section. Okay, resistance of a wire is inversely proportional to the area of cross section. Okay, resistance of a wire is inversely proportional to the area of cross section. It means what? When area increases, resistance decreases. For example, if you see, suppose two wires I'm taking, okay, of same length but different area of cross section. Okay, so here area A1 is there, here area A2 is there, but length is same. Okay, here resistance is R1, R2. So as area A1 is less than area A2. Okay, this area of cross section. Okay, this area is area of cross section. So resistance R1 will be more than R2. Less area, more resistance. Okay. So here you can see here, read resistance R is directly proportional to the length of the conductor. This means resistance increases with the increase in length of the conductor. Okay, this is the cause that long electric wires creates more resistance to the electric circuit. Yes or no? Similarly, area of cross section, resistance R is inversely proportional to the area of cross section of the conductor. This means R will decrease with the increase in area of cross section and vice versa. It means if area is more, resistance is less. Area is less, resistance is more. Okay. So more area of conductor facilitates the flow of electric current through the more area. Thus decreases the resistance. This is the cause that thick copper wires creates a less resistance to the electric circuits. So you can write the statement R is inversely proportional to the area of cross section. Yes or no? Next factor is what? Nature of material. Okay. Wires used in the electric circuit is made up of different materials, and different materials have different values of resistivity. Okay, so it is a property of the material. Okay, for generally for conductors resistance is lesser, for insulator resistance is more. So resistance R is directly proportional to the resistivity of the material. I will explain you this resistivity concepts. Okay, see actually when we talk about R directly proportional to length and R inversely proportional to area of cross section. When you combine these two, we can write R directly proportional to L by A. Okay, so when you remove the proportionality, you have to put a constant. R is equal to rho L by A. Rho is called as resistivity. Okay, what is rho? Rho is called as resistivity of the material. Rho is called as resistivity or a specific resistance, also called as specific resistance. So when we talk about unit of rho, what we can write? Rho is equal to R into A by L. R into A by L. So resistance unit is ohm. Okay, and area is meter square, length is in meter. So this square and meter get cancelled. So SI unit of resistivity is what? Ohm meter. Okay, so resistance R is directly proportional to the resistivity of the material. Okay, R is directly proportional to the resistivity rho of the material. Okay, so this is the equations which I wrote here. R is equal to rho L by A. Okay, one more concept is there. Okay, one more factor which affects the resistance is temperature. So resistance also varies with the temperature. Okay, so generally what happens? Resistance increases with the increase in temperature and decreases with a decrease in temperature. So resistance you can write directly proportional to the temperature. It means when the temperature increases, resistance also increases. Yes or no? So in this video, I have explained you what is electric current, what is potential difference, Ohm's law, what is a resistance, and factor affecting resistance. In the next video, we will continue the remaining part of the lessons like resistors connections in series and parallel. Okay. So if you like my video, please share with your friends and subscribe my channel for more videos. Thank you.